Okay, we were talking about your wedding, and can you recall the help that Aunt Laura gave you after your wedding,
Yeah, she came.
or what she did for you
Yeah.
for your wedding?
Uncle Paul, Laura's husband, Paul and Laura, came in their car. They had a four-door car, and she had a white sheet in the back seat for me and my mom to get into, and she fixed my hair. So I didn't go to the beauty shop to get my hair done. She fixed it for me and got me all ready and all that, and drove us to the church. And you know, you remember now here, everybody has such a big reception. There was a lot of people at my wedding. There was neighbors, there was the relatives, but we didn't have a wedding party. We just took the immediately group to Dearborn Inn, and for several years on our anniversary, even when we lived out here in Clinton Township, we went to Dearborn Inn on our anniversary. Several years we did that.
Okay, the move from Detroit to Fraser and the loss of the house on Crocus Lawn, you said there were appraisers?
There was two appraisers. First one fella came, a younger fella, and he said, "This isn't fair. These homes are too well kept. They should not be torn down." And then he gave his appraisal, and then a second man came, an older man, and he gave the final appraisal. And some people got $9,500. The poor Malachis, I remember they got $9,000 for their house, and some people got $10,500. And then the people were upset with what we were given. They decided to go and have the same lawyer fight for more money. So you ended with $500 more. So you weren't too far ahead. So we ended up with $10,500.
And the movers, you had to get estimates for the move?
We had to get 3 appraisals for movers. They would move you. But if we had gone to 1 more mile, to 16 Mile, they would not have paid for our moving.
Okay. And then before you left, there were people coming to the house
asking to buy, can we buy your storm door? Can we buy your garage door? Your mailbox? I said, you can't touch a thing. You have to go to the Board of Education. You can't take down a thing. We had stained glass in our front door, and they wanted that. I said, you can't touch that. That belongs to the Board of Education, owns it now. But I moved all the rocks. I moved 40 rose bushes out here. I think Tom helped dig holes to plant rose bushes because it was all going to be dug up.
Okay, some memories again, going back to some memories of Johnny and his brothers and sisters in Catawissa and the help that Aunt Dora gave at Christmas time.
Yes, Aunt Dora, they looked forward to her Christmas package because it was during the Depression. She would send a big box with oranges, apples, wool socks, caps, and gloves. That was their Christmas, looking for her package.
And then also helped by Aunt Dora for Glenn, who was ill, and her assistance to get him to Detroit.
Yeah, he was very ill. He was 21 when he died, and he was very ill, and they didn't have the money to send him to the hospital, so Dora came and took him by train to Providence Hospital, and he died of what they called at that time consumption. Yeah, it was very sad letters that I read about him.
Memories of the move from Detroit to Fraser. You talked about help by Doug McHugh. You talked about help by Elma.
Yeah, Doug. That morning, December the 11th, 1967, Monday, and Doug McHugh came over, and my mom had a coffee pot with the coffee in, ready to be plugged in. He took pillows and he drove my mom and Robert and Tom out to meet the movers, and then Harold Capian took Robert till we loaded up the car and saw that the house was emptied, And we went over to the Capians to pick up Robert, and Alma had a big tray of Christmas cookies for us, and we didn't even have a room in the back seat for Rob, so the three of us sat in the front seat.
And that was in October,
And that was December the 11th.
December. Okay.
December the 11th, 1967.
Okay.
The house was finished in October,
Oh, okay, right.
but we couldn't leave it. We couldn't leave the house on Crocus Lawn empty because if anything happened to it, we were responsible.
Again, more memories of moving to Fraser and going down to Hudson's to buy new china.
Yeah. This was after he came home from the service.
No, this is moving to Fraser.
Oh yes.
And didn't you go to Hudson's to buy some new china for the house?
Grandma says we're not going into a new house without new dishes, so she went down to Hudson's and picked out Friendly Village. She says we are going to have new dishes in our house, and she picked out Friendly Village. Yeah.
Okay. Now we're in Fraser, and what memories do you have of Alice and Ham visiting us, and more specifically purchasing their car?
They purchased their car. Where did they purchase it, Tom?
Didn't they used to come and purchase a car and then drive it back to California?
Yeah, they would, but I can't remember where. They would purchase a Chrysler car and drive it back to California, and he would put it on the ship and ship it back to Hawaii. And they would visit us in Detroit. I remember one time they were here, and it was in the fall, and he went over to Einstein where Robert was, and the teacher wanted him to talk about Hawaii. Then there was a field trip, went to the apple orchard, and he went along with Robert's class.
Didn't he surprise Robert at Einstein one time?
He surprised them. Robert didn't know they were here, and he went to meet him after school, when school let out, and he walked up to Robert and he said, could you two please tell me where Robert Johnson is? And it was Rob. He was very surprised, yeah.
Okay, what memories do you have of John and Mary Stausch?
Oh my, the Stausches. What a couple they were.
You talked about playing cards, you talked about
cards.
Johnny playing Santa, things like that.
Yes, we played pinochle once a week. And one time over to their house, and the next time, so this time they were at our house, and beforehand Mary said, because both Johns always won, and she says, I'm tired of them winning. She says, Barb, we're going to have signals. So we had signals for the heart, for the diamond, for the club, for the spade, and so, and of course there was always a little glass of Slivovich for the guys, so we're playing away and we're winning one hand after another, and John Stausch put his cards on the table. He says, Johnny, they're cheating. They got signals. And he looked at Mary, and she got the most guilty look on her face. Well, that ended it. But she would make the best strudel at Christmas time, and then they decided that Mary always had Christmas Eve dinner around 4 o'clock. They had the 3 sons and their family and the grandchildren, and they had a Santa Claus outfit, and they asked Johnny different Christmases to be Santa Claus. So they would pull down their living room shade so the grandchildren wouldn't see who's coming across the street. And of course, Daddy was always kind of late in getting home. Poor John Stausch is calling, Barbie, where is he? I says, he's on his way, don't worry, John, he'll be here. He gets dressed in the bedroom, and Rudy is having a fit, running back and forth, barking. So we get him dressed out the door, and Rudy follows him out the door. I said, Tom, go get the dog, because he had to go to in their backyard to the shed, and in the shed was a great big black bag of the Christmas gifts. And I said, if those kids see Rudy, they know who Santa Claus is. You've got to get Rudy. So you pick up Rudy, and he bites you. You bring him back in. Here's your dog. He bit me. But the kids never knew who Santa Claus was. And Daddy would always have a scroll with all their names on, and he would read the first one and the second one, and the poor guy that was had the last name standing there wondering who was going. But those grandchildren never knew who Santa Claus was.
Well, you talked about making Slivovich, so can you tell us about that? Slivovich.
Oh, Slivovich. Yes, John was from Yugoslavia, from the Dubrovnik area, and they made Slivovich was their penicillin, their aspirin. If you had a sore throat, you took Slivovich. If you had a cut, you put Slivovich on. So Mary was from Romania, and they met in Germany during the war. And they would make Slivovich. You would go out and pick the grapes, and then put the grapes in a
Weren't
washer.
they plums?
Huh?
Plums.
Or plums. Yes, it was plums. I'm sorry. It was plums. And sugar. How many pounds of sugar? And you let that ferment, and that's how you made Slivovich.
Okay. Memories about cutting your hand
Okay.
and while cutting the grass.
Cutting the grass. Okay, it was the last day. It was Thursday, June the 7th. What was that? 1951 or 71? 73. And the last day, and Rob was cutting the grass. The lawnmower was in the patio, and he went to get more bags. It was idling. I saw some grass sticking out, and I put my hand in and cut 4 fingers. Tom was downstairs studying for a test. I said, Tom, I think I've cut my hand. And it was pretty badly. It was bleeding, so we got a towel, went over. He wanted to go to Mount Clemens General in Mount Clemens. I said, no, go where Dr. Meach is. And we got there. They put it in a wet bath. And Dr. Jimmy Bradley was there, and he said, I'm going out for dinner, I'll be back. And I thought, well, why? He says, well, I have to get an operating room. In the meantime, you call Daddy. He's finishing cutting the grass. You better get over here, she's going into surgery. And that was on Thursday, and I didn't get home till Monday. That whole summer was gone. I didn't.
Well, your finger, you still have use of your finger.
Oh, yeah. Jimmy Bradley, I wasn't released from him till September, and I couldn't say enough about him. He was excellent, yeah.
Okay, how about memories of getting your driver's license?
Oh, the driver.
Practicing for driving,
Yeah.
as well as going through your driver's test.
Yes, that was the day after Thanksgiving, and you had got your driver's license just before. And you said, okay, I'll take you out on Thanksgiving morning, because I was going to get my test on the Friday after Thanksgiving. So you took me out Thanksgiving morning on the same route that you had to pass your test, and I did very well. So the next morning, it's freezing rain, the wipers are going, you got the test up at Cass and
Grossbeck.
and so we have to go up a hill, like, we go up there, and it's slippery, and the lady comes out, and I says, can't we do this another day? She says, oh no, she's putting salt down to get into the car. So start the car up, I did, and the whole 9 yards, back up. But we don't do the same route as you took me on. But I did all right, and I come back, and you and Daddy are standing in the window, and we go in, and you said, how did she do? Oh, she did very well. A little nervous, but we come out, and I says, here are the keys. You can drive me home. And I drove 3 times after that, forget it.
Okay.